After 18 months of announcing, speculation, assumptions, the Lion King is here! And in studio we've got Rafiki, who is played by Dr. John Kani, and of course the man who's behind, the score of it once again. Gentlemen, welcome to the 947 Breakfast Club. Hello. Listen, to kick things off immediately, we're going to throw you into the hot water here. So we've got the scene for you. It's from Lion King. We're going to play it for you. It's in another language. You need to identify the language and then identify which scene in the Lion King it is.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Аз съм разочарован.
Знам го.
Можеше да те убият. Съзнателно не ме послуша. Нещо повече. Изложи Нала на опасност.
Исках да съм смел като теб, татко.
Аз съм смел само когато се налага. Да си смел не значи сам да търсиш неприятности.
Но ти не се плашиш от нищо.
Днес се оплаших.
Така ли?
Да. Помислих, че може да те загубя.
Now you see, while they were listening, the actor and the musician.
Yes.
Yeah, Lebo was like, the strings. Yes, I remember these strings.
He's smart.
I remember these strings.
So which scene is it?
I know exactly where it is because the music leads me to where it is.
Yes.
Yeah?
Which one is it?
Is this
Simba
one?
and...
Yes.
It's Simba and Mufasa.
And Mufasa.
And our theme there is very specific. It's the only time where we're featuring the cello in the entire movie.
Wow.
Okay, you need to stop it now. Now you just
Now I'm throwing it back at you. The only place where the cello is featured in the entire score is where?
What emotion were you trying to evoke?
The emotion of a father chastising a child, but with passion and compassion.
That's incredible, guys. That's incredible.
Okay, officially blown away.
Wow. And you could also feel Simba trying to be smart and small and says, yeah, Papa, no, Papa, but you told me I'm king, Papa.
He said I run this thing. And now what do you mean? I'm confused. What do you mean I can't go to Scar's Cave?
You are shocked, aren't you, Anele?
I am literally blown away. This shows us, this is why both of you have been doing what you're doing for decades. It's the longevity of understanding every nuance of what you're doing. Which brings me to my next point. How did you make sure that the nuances of the old Lion King exist in this one, yet being free enough to know that you can take those liberties and tell a bigger story and stretch it?
I think Tata will also support me on this one. It always starts with the director. Where we have the privilege of a really brilliant director, John Favreau, who had a natural instinct that led him to first respect the authenticity of the original story, which allowed him to bring in the extra age and then allow the talent to basically stretch the envelope.
Is there massive, I mean, there must be massive pressure when you're putting the soundtrack together, seeing as the original's soundtrack is like iconic, it's burned into everyone's mind. And now you're putting together the new one for a movie that's hopefully going to be as big,
We had the ultimate pressure, I have to say, in the entire project.
Yeah.
Because we carry the spirit. The soundtrack carried the spirit of the entire presentation, whether it's on stage or on film. So we're conscious of that from day one. And the hardest thing to do is to recreate
that magic.
The magic. And it's recreate the natural flow of the story supported by music. But again, fortunately, when you have great talent and my greatest inspiration is not because he's more handsome than me, he's here. My greatest inspiration is always that you must have, as a composer, 1 or 2 or 3 principles that sort of lead you a certain way. Now, having done this for 25 years and being on Broadway, the hardest thing for me was to get what I call my hook, which is a particular principal character that gives me a new edge. And what Tate John brings is that new age that comes full circle with the character of Rafiki, because it starts with the original with Robert Guillaume, and then on Broadway, I've been living with Rafiki, the female, for 23 years.
Yes.
Which then means one had to adjust and bring growth to coming full circle with Rafiki, the full shaman, the age and the wisdom, and that's what I focused on in now adding value to the new story.
Okay, so I want to go now to that John Kani there. So you get an email, you get a call from your agents, somebody saying, yay, they want you on Lion King, right? To you immediately, what do you think? You think Mufasa? I mean, this is me. I am Mufasa, right? Which role did you immediately think of for yourself? And then when it was revealed that it is Rafiki, what did you think?
Well, at my age, I always say, you called me. Speak.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the call.
Speak. And I'm not looking for work. You were looking for me.
Oh, yes.
I was on the set of the Black Panther. We just shot it, and I'm standing up. And the next thing, this guy behind me says, hello, Dr. Kani. I says, fine. I said, what the hell is this young man? He says, we're doing this CGI new version of The Lion King. I would be honored, and Disney would be honored if you were to voice Rafiki.
Wow.
I said, thank you. And then he walked away, and then the casting director comes around and says, oh, we're honored because John just told me that you nodded. I said, fine. I know Hollywood. They meet you in the street, they meet in studios, I'm going to make you a star, and they never call.
Yes.
So a couple of weeks later, the call came, and they said, are you still available? I said, yes, of course. I discussed it with my son. He says to me, Mufasa dies very quickly.
Yes. Go Atandwa.
Look for a character
And then
that
he
lives.
says, Scar is only in some parts, and then it's late in the movie again. I think Rafiki is going to permeate through the story.
Yes.
And I said, you're right, actually it's my age too.
Yes. Wow. So Rafiki will go with.
Yeah. Sorry, my mind is just blown. Did you say Rafiki was a lady, was a female?
On Broadway.
Broadway.
On Broadway, okay.
Yeah. Broadway, yeah.
Because I thought in the movie, I was like, my mind was just got completely blown. But I'm so excited to see Dr. John Kani play.
Bring him more coffee.
No, this is what we discussed with John Favreau, and when we talked about Rafiki, says, how do you see this? Because I want you to invest you in it. I said, well, he's like a historian. He's like a custodian of culture. He's there to record the legacy of Mufasa. Actually, he was there when Mufasa was born.
Yeah.
And then he was there again when Simba was born. He will be there again when Simba's eldest son is born. He'll be there again generations, because he carries in his mind the history of Pride Rock. And he knows everything. Therefore, he's like a wise old man who comes when someone dies. Inauguration, someone is going to be king. There are no coups. There was one coup only when Scar took over for a few, and he just stayed far away.
Yeah.
And he said to me, say anything, say anything. There's wonderful scene when Mufasa declares and says, unfortunately, I am now the king. They cut to Rafiki, and Rafiki looks and he says, oh, Tiko.
When Scar says I'm king, yeah.
So wait, you snuck closer in again, because you snuck closer into Black Panther, and then you snuck closer into Lion King.
No.
We are officially late.
This is it.
We are late. We are late. Listen, coming up, we want to talk about how Broadway. Because let's be honest. Dr. John Kani is a thespian. He is a Broadway person. So will we see him on the Lion King in the Broadway edition that Lebo
That's what we want to know.
That's what we want to know. We want to talk a bit more about the music, and we have to give away these 5 hampers.
Exactly.
We've got the Lion King gurus, the Lion King backbone, the guy that is playing Rafiki, and the guy that did the music in studio. There's no better way to celebrate the launch of Lion King in South Africa. Please go and watch this movie tonight. Your kids.
If you can get a space tonight, because it's
fully
full.
booked.
It's full everywhere, but I'm sure you could.
Look, speak to someone somewhere.
I want to ask you, when you're taking on a character like Rafiki, do you get nervous when you're standing with the cast? You know the pressure from the original. Do you get nervous? What are the challenges?
If you do not get nervous before the lights come up or before action, you're losing it.
Is it? So you still get that heart flutter?
You have to have that heart flutter. You have to approach everything with innocence and almost first time.
Yeah.
So you can't stand there thinking, I'm just going to do it. And that's exactly when you're losing it. And always remember, the people who are listening, they are your first time audience.
Yeah.
They went here yesterday. They didn't see the other day. So every time you feel like, okay. But you have an interaction with the director. You've discussed this. You check with the other actors you are interacting with. And then you formulate a journey for yourself.
Yeah.
And that journey begins with understanding the role what this character means, what this character brings to the telling of the story, the importance of this character in the story, the relationship of this character with each of the other characters. And then when you got that settled in you, you're home.
And how does it work? Like, are you guys in a room together? Do you act, is the other voice, let's say you're in a scene with Nala, whatever, are they in the room with you? Is it just on the screen?
That is the challenge, because it's the theater of the mind.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
in a cubicle alone,
and you're
on
seeing
the screen on the other side. No other directors, the producers, the sound, this and everybody, not the other actor. The other actor is in your in your ear. So you then create a relationship with someone you've never met all your life. I mean, the beautiful scene between Rafiki and Simba.
Yes.
Me and Donald Glover. I don't know. I know Danny Glover.
Yes. That's your friend.
Not my friend.
That's your homie.
That's my homie.
This Bramlord, you don't know this new.
Donald, I don't know. But I hear his voice and I understand. I've seen the picture and I match the relationship. And I know that this is my responsibility to bring up this child, to empower this child, to be the grandfather, to give him all the knowledge, information he needs. So then when I deliver my line, I see him. I don't see Little Lion, I see Donald.
Right.
So I interact with Donald. If I'm talking to Mufasa, I see James L. Jones.
Wow.
So I'm working that way so that our souls and our self
Intertwine.
intertwined into Rafiki. Nor
That's
do
amazing.
I see Rafiki as a primate with a wonderful, beautiful nose. As I did say, please, John, can that monkey not look like me? Africa is not going to take kindly to that John, and it looks like a monkey.
We'll be like, John is trying us now. He tried us. And you know Twitter will find him. So now, Lebo, when it comes to you, I mean, this album is now out, right?
Yes.
We are, besides ourselves, the fact that you are on it and you are one of the big composers of it. You know, Beyonce is on it. And then there are a whole lot of South African acts. Busiswa is there. Moonchild Sally is there. I know Yemi Alade is also there, you know, from the continent. You were obviously the one who had to, you know, go with those people and find the African talent that is going to be on the soundtrack. What was that process like? How did you go about making sure that you find those people to be part of the project?
How do you pick them?
No, to the contrary. This franchise works differently. I have absolutely nothing to do with that soundtrack.
Okay.
I have everything to do myself enhanced with the soundtrack of the movie. The score. Right?
Okay.
So, in fact, I love the description Utata just gave of how you work. And I'm thinking, wow, this is actually amazing. I'm on radio right now. The way we work now, most people will think I was in a studio with Beyonce for Spirit.
Yeah.
If you think about how we grew up and on radio, you become your own director, you become your own producer, because you have to be like Dr. Kani just described. You have to get inside, in your mind, in your spirit, the character that you're working with. So when I'm writing the Spirit version specifically for the movie, I have to create what he just described. I have to be in the studio and in the room with the performer and co-writer and co-producer Beyonce, but in my own space, which I think is brilliant, because it's like technology is there, but we're going back to in time when we're growing up, we listened to stories and on radio, and you have to create that room, you have to create that kitchen, you have to create all of that.
It's a great isolation.
Yeah, it's a great isolation, which allows you to bring all of you into that thing and merge the energy that is there. So my work and responsibility has always been the movie soundtrack. Then you have the Inspired by Beyonce record that just got released.
Okay.
Then you have the lead single of Spirit.
Okay, yes.
That is the lead single for the entire franchise, but it's also the lead single of the Beyonce record.
Okay.
Then you have what I'm about to go do, the Lebo Inspired by album that I'm working on, probably be the last offering. So it's a series
of the music tiers.
Of 25 years ago, we released the soundtrack of The Lion King. In that soundtrack of The Lion King, the follow through was my album called Rhythm of the Pride Lands.
Yes.
Which had all these other things that were not in the movie.
Ideas, but it's came out of your working on it.
We wrote a lot of music
obviously.
in the original movie, and the album Rhythm of the Pride Lands was born. And then the songs from Rhythm of the Pride Lands become classic on Broadway, including He Lives in You.
Yes.
Which now, 25 years later, I get to perform and produce He Lives in You. The way I visualize it is all in Xhosa. So we've Xhosa-sized this entire Lion King franchise.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Frankie was very shocked when I told him this morning that you are the one on Nah.
That's your
it's
voice.
It's him, guys.
That's your voice.
Guys, this is Lebo M.
Because for me, this is the Lion King.
He says this is the
This
Lion
is the Lion King. I mean,
Indeed.
that's the sound. When you hear this, you know.
It's you.
Yes, it's me.
So, can we look forward to that part in the movie?
How much money are you going to pay me?
Can we hear it now?
As in, you want him to do it live?
Yes.
Are you warm?
Okay.
Did you hear the first question? You said, you wanted me to tell you what's in the movie. I said, how much money?
Yes.
And he's saying,
Can
we
you
do it
live?
now? I say, how much money in dollars?
Come on, you warm, Lebo.
Which one, huh?
We want you to do
No,
that.
you don't warm up for things that are naturally you. I don't have to
Oh.
warm up to
Oh,
go.
but
Nansi ngonyama. How do you warm up? Baba bakithi, baba. I haven't done that on radio ever.
I wasn't ready. Please.
We weren't ready. Please shut that down. Okay, the silence. Move away.
What?
You're going to do it again?
Oh, no. It came and went. No. Hey. Jonga, ndisemsebenzini apha ne. Next time I do this, ndifuna check kaloku.
Please, I'll buy you breakfast, Uncle Lebo. Please.
She'll buy me breakfast.
I speak.
Never argue with the elders, ne? Ubonile no. Utheni?
Yes.
Go.
Go.
Nansi ngonyama bakithi baba.
City. Oh.
Luckily, you have an elder here. I don't argue with the elder, man.
We are forever blessed.
Huh?
We are forever blessed. So when can we
Actually,
get...
I've never done that on radio ever.
Oh my word.
Pretty cool.
This is one of my favorite things I've ever done on
is
radio.
so
So that's amazing.
And you know what blows my mind is how clear your voice is.
Yeah.
The clarity in
Because
it.
what did I say to you this morning? Obviously, over 25 years, your voice changes. And I was like, I wonder if Lebo M can still do it.
But you must remember, he was 3 years old when he did it 25 years
yes,
ago.
I was
So now he's just 28. So
20 something.
yeah, so it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. So when can we look forward to this next offering that I mean, you've done the score for this Lion King and you said that you're working on another thing. When can we look forward to that?
Well, I would say it's a one-step approach. We're very excited about. I'm very proud, first of all, of this Lion King. It's the most South African Lion King movie ever.
Yes.
It starts with Lebo M with the now iconic Nansi ngonyama. What most people don't know, we're slowly revealing who's behind singing The Circle of Life is Lindiwe, who the entire from the day you arrive in the movie
Yes.
is a South African actress that's been with us on
Broadway.
the production, and that's quite amazing for us. And of course, then the next year you have Dr. John Kani playing Rafiki,
Yeah.
and then the end titles you have myself on Elton John song,
Yes.
and then you have the second end title song is He Lives in You in Xhosa,
Yes.
and the last one is the most special for me in this entire soundtrack is we're doing Mbube, dedicated to the original composer, Solomon Linda, and I'm doing it all in Xhosa, and it's produced by Pharrell. So it's a very special, very
Ending.
hardcore,
Yeah, guys.
most organic Lion
Take
King
a bow, guys.
product.
So you got to sit till the end of the credits. Watch
Yeah.
the credits full.
Yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
was incredible in Hollywood. Is every time, every song, there's an applause.
Yes.
You almost like, shut up, I'm missing what's going on. You know? And every time the voice comes, they applaud because they identify that's Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah. And now,
And that's Beyonce. Wow.
Yes.
And then that's John Kani. Wow. So they were applauding on the characters.
The
as
premiere
if
was
we
amazing
are
in Los
those
Angeles
characters, yeah.
because we walked in pretty much, stressed. At least some of us, you're very conscious in the Los Angeles premiere that this is the first time
It's
a
make or break.
significant part of the global community is going to see this movie
Yes.
outside those of us that have been working on it, and it's only natural. And you, whoa,
Wow.
How? Even the tree shaking. How? Heaven. So
That's
you
amazing.
knew that is something special that's about to happen around the world.
All
By
right.
the time I got to the London premiere, it's like, oh, okay.
Okay, you know
Oh,
what
is
to
that
expect.
where you were hanging out with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
Yes.
It's a
But
tough
for
life.
me,
It's a tough life, guys.
now for
Yeah,
me,
but
it's very
I'm telling
tough.
you,
Huh?
huh?
It's a tough life.
But now,
my
guess
God.
what? For me, and I'm sure for Dr. Kani, the mark for me has always been the South African premiere, because that's the spiritual home of the Lion King. And the reaction in the coldest premiere of the Lion King was just amazing.
This was last night.
Last
Under the stars.
Yeah, under the stars.
Under the stars.
Yeah.
You forget sometimes when Hollywood sort of tells African stories, and in the context of being Hollywood, great commercial, and then you find a piece of work that opens with Lebo, and then you see the vast cinematographic South African context, and you realize this all belongs to me. This is Africa.
All
ours.
belongs to
I
you.
own this land. I own that ant. I own that antelope. That lion is mine. I'm African.
There's
And
something
that's what
special.
makes you feel so proud with the Lion King. It's an African story. Kwathi ke kaloku nganzo.
Oh my word,
That's what it
that's how they used to tell us stories when we were kids.
Yes.
Listen, we could speak forever.
We could.
We
There's
could.
this moment I want to share with you.
Okay,
that
let's
can
wrap
only
it up.
happen in South Africa.
Yes.
We went to the Los Angeles premiere, went to the London premiere. Last night, there's a scene while people are watching the movie where Mufasa's voice says, "Look, Simba." And most people in the audience watching the movie looked up to the skies. And I hope our cameras captured that scene.
Wow.
Because the setting where the premiere was in Johannesburg, so you could, no amount of money could create that scene in Hollywood or anywhere else. That's how special we are as a country and a people and a continent.
We are
The scene, people looked up and the skies were, and you could see the
stars.
stars.
And
So you're
Mufasa
looking
was
at the
there.
stars on the screen and you're looking at the stars up there. It's like, okay, this product is home.
And it's cold, so you're feeling Africa. Like
Yes.
you're feeling
You're
it.
feeling
yes.
it indeed.
Yes.
You asked about relationship with the other actors you work with. When we arrive in Hollywood, you're called car number 66. We get out, we get to backstage, and there is the actors you've been interacting with. And Donald comes to talk to me like we know each other.
You do, though.
Because we son.
Because you were together on...
You father
we
and
were together,
son.
yes.
Yeah.
So they described me to him. This is who plays Rafiki. This is who you're interacting with. This is what he looks like. This is what he's done. This is who he is. And I've also followed, in his music and his rap and everything.
Yeah.
And so there was sort of a familiarity that was long established during the recording of this movie, that when we meet, it feels like, I know this young man.
Wow.
Listen, if this last 40 minutes does not convince you that you cannot miss out on Lion King, I actually don't know what will. Thank you so much to Dr. John Kani, who plays Rafiki in The Lion King. Thank you so much to Lebo M, who composes the score with his very good friends, Mr. Zimmerman. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Zimmer.
We've got to give a big shout out to Disney for this. We started this with Black Panther, right? In celebration of The Lion King that launches now, the Walt Disney Company in Africa, in collaboration with Hyundai Santa Fe, F&B Attack Foundation, they've launched the Lion King screening program. They're going to take 10,000 high school learners from underserved communities across the country to experience the Lion King with the Youth Start Foundation, facilitated by the Youth Start Foundation. So remember we did this with Black Panther?
I was going to say, this team started that.
Yes, round of applause.
947 Breakfast team started that.
And now we're doing it for Lion King, so how do they need our support?
No, it's just to mention
It's
that
done. They're
it's
doing
already
it. Done deal.
Yes.
Nicely done, Disney, in association with Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yeah, Hyundai Santa Fe, F&B and Attack Foundation.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, Dr. John Kani, thank you so much. We will go watch The Lion King. We'll look out for Rafiki. He's there all the time. And then Baby Girl.
Thank you, baby girl.
Baby Girl.
Baby girl.
Baby Girl.
Thank you, baby girl.
Love you, Lebo M. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
If you love Joburg,
947 loves you.